Short one. Just a quick rundown. Hi, I'm Savjz and on this video I'm gonna talk about the rank 1 Druid that I've been playing lately with great success. It seems like the deck is really well rounded and there's no real bad matchups with it. I'm gonna show you the list. So it looks mostly like every other Druid out there. It's not that special because there's a lot of Druid lists and they're more or less the same. But I want to talk about some key points in this list. First of all, there's only one zombie chow. Like some decks run 2 and some run 0. But I've really found that it's really good to have exactly one because then you never draw 2 of them and it's just it's a great tool to combat against aggressive decks if you get it out early. But it also, like, not running 2 means that it's not that damaging against low control decks because you won't draw them at the same time with your all mana cards and then have nothing powerful to play. So I'm really happy with having just one. I play 2 Savjz Roars but only 1 Force of Nature for the combo. Because I feel like the Savjz Roar is the better one of those, of the combo pieces. And you don't necessarily need the Force of Nature for the combo. Because you can just charge like a Druid of the Claw and Savjz Roar 10, and if you have 1 or 2 minions out there, it's still gonna be a hell of a lot of damage, so it works just fine. And playing double forces has been a bit clunky sometimes, because if it's like an empty board on turn 6, and you only have 2 forces and 1 roar in your hand, you can't play anything and then you lose the game. So I really like playing just 1 force, but the roars are always amazing. We have 1 big game hunter in here, which is like standard because of all the Dr. Booms out there, and I guess some decks you can even big game hunt something else, but mostly it's for the Dr. Boom. 1 MC deck. The reason why there's an MC deck is mostly because of the mech mages. Mech mage has really tough time playing around the MC deck. They are often forced to play 4 or more minions, and when you play this, unless you get the 1-drop, you're gonna win the game if you steal anything but the 1-drop. So it's an excellent card, and it's also because there's not that many cards that you want to play on turn 3. So against decks other than Mech Mage or well, even against Mech Mage sometimes. But if you don't have a shade for turn 3, you can just drop this as a 3 for 3. It's not that bad. It's still okay because hero powering on turn 3 is really crappy. So it's another 3 mana card to play to make sure that you have a play on turn 3, and it has a cool ability which is amazing in some matchups. Sometimes you can, if you draw this in late game, it can still be useful against Dr. Boom. You often get just a Boom bot, but the times when you do get the Dr. Boom or something amazing, you're guaranteed to win the game. Double swipes, double keepers, that's standard. Pilotless Shredder is just a really sticky minion with the death rattle. I'm running 1 Azure Drake and 1 Harrison Jones, 1 Belcher. So this is I could be playing 2 Drakes. The Drake is really good for the extra card draw. You need the card draw because of the mana cards, which are Innervate and Wild Growth, and also because of the Zombie Chow. Because these often lead to card disadvantage, but having that extra Drake and the Lores, and in this case Harrison against weapon decks, you can make up for the lost cards from the mana cards, so you can still keep up with cards with your opponent. I have 1 Harrison instead of the second Drake because I've noticed that Paladin is one of the top classes. It's not easy to play against the Paladin, so against Paladin, Harrison Jones is absolutely amazing. First of all, there's Master for Battle. If they do it on turn 3, we might have access to tools like Innervate. If you Innervate the Harrison against the 3-charge Master for Battle weapon, you draw 3 cards and you win the game. And also it's amazing against Tyrion, because then you don't have to save a keeper for the Tyrion. This is actually way better answer than a keeper is with the silence for a Tyrion, because Tyrion still sticks around as a 6/6. Oftentimes when Paladin plays a Tyrion, you already have some minions on the board because the 8 mana is their entire turn, so they can't clear your existing stuff on the same turn. So you can make the trades with the minions that you have, maybe hero power the shield down, make the trades, and then you drop a Harrison. So that allows you to be able to keep her knife jugglers or whatever without worrying too much about Tyrion. Without the Harrison, you have to keep a keeper, and it's still a bit weaker. So this is mostly for paladins, but it's also really good against rogues, because rogues are running a lot of oils nowadays. And even when you Harrison 2-charge hero power weapon, it's still okay because it takes tempo out of them and you draw 2 cards. So I have found that it's really good to play this right now. If you don't have Harrison, you can play a second Drake, and it's also good. And against, let's say, other Druids or Mech Mage, that second Drake is actually better. But yeah, this helps with some of the hardest matchups. One Belzer in here because I wanted to have an extra 5-drop, and it's a bit of like an aggro stopper because there's always on the ladder there's some form of aggressive decks around, and Belzer is just really sticky, and almost nobody's running Black Knight right now, so the fact that it's a taunt doesn't really matter. And with the Death Rattle and the double Savjz roar, you might get a slime still to survive. Even if the Belzer dies, you might have a slime in the beginning of the next turn, and you can get some roar value from the slime. But yeah, I think it's really good to have one. I kind of even want to play 2, but there's too many 5-drops, and I don't want to cut the Druid of the Claws. They're just way too flexible. At 6 mana, other than the Force of Nature, we have Sylvanas Windrunner. The older lists used to run a Black Knight instead of this, but right now Black Knight is not that well positioned. In ladder, there's not that much stuff to Black Knight in the end, so Sylvanas is more or less situational. You can just play it as if you don't have a play for turn 6. You can just play this as a 5/5. You shouldn't worry too much about trying to Death Rattle, Mind Control, or Tyrion, or Ysera, or something like that. Even on an empty board, if you have no other play, this is completely fine. Don't try to get max value out of it. The 5/5 is really solid stats. And against many classes, you can if they don't have a silence and they have some minions on the board already, this can win you the game. You attack with it into 1 minion, you rot your own Sylvanas for 1 or something, and you steal their other minion. So it's a really strong card. At 7 we have the Lures. Probably, I actually think this card is kind of overpowered. It's like really amazing. Draw 2 cards, not much to say there. The card draw, you get the remaining combo pieces that you need, and it makes up for the lost cards in the Innervates and the Wild Growths, so it's amazing. Dr. Boom. While I don't think that Dr. Boom is like absolutely necessary here it offers a big game hunter target, because before we don't have anything at 7. So if your opponent has a big game hunter in his starting hand, he's just holding on to it. Like on turn 7, even if he has just 1 big game hunter in his deck, like the time that you play Dr. Boom, it's a fairly high chance that he's gonna have it. But the Boom bots are just so good. This is like the most overpowered card in the game right now, so it's just too good to pass up. You should still play it, and sometimes even when the Boom bots survive, if they survive a turn, even if the Dr. Boom itself doesn't, then you can Savjz Roar to win the game. And the final card is Scenarios. Scenarios is it's 9 mana, which is really expensive, but we have to keep it in mind that we're playing Druid, so even while other classes have some difficulties playing 9 mana cards, we have the mana cards here, once again, Wild Growth and Innervate, so we can get it before turn 9. And it has a lot of stats for the mana. It's 5/8 and with 2/3, and so basically it provides you 9 power, 12 toughness at worst. And if you have a Shade and maybe something else, if you have 2 minions basically, you usually want to play it as a buff, and it's just amazing. This work a bit similarly with the Dr. Boom, like get 1 big body and 2 small ones. But Scenarios, yeah, it's really good. 5/8 is a huge threat. That's pretty much it. I'm gonna do one more thing, because a lot of people have requested for me to explain, like, if there's because they don't have all the cards. Like this deck contains 4 legendary cards. So what do I do? I don't have Harrison Jones. What should I play instead of it? So I'm gonna show you what to play instead of it. So let's replace all the legendaries. So first of all, the Harrison Jones. This is an easy one. You play Drake. Now you're a bit weaker to Paladin and Rogue, but that's it. Like in many of the matchups, Drake is just as good, and it draws a card. So sometimes it even against Rogue and Paladin, it can, well, not against Paladin because they always have a weapon, but even against Rogue it can be really good. So that's an easy one. This doesn't really make your deck that much weaker. now we take out the Sylvanas. So I really want to play something that's 6 mana. We have to figure out a card which is not legendary. I think we can throw in a second Force of Nature. It changes the deck a little bit, and we have no empty boards turn 6 play now, so that's a bit bad in a way. I guess we could also play one Piloted Sky Golem. Should get the job done. Yeah, let's do that instead. So let's throw in a Piloted Sky Golem. It's a really powerful card. It's not as like it's more sticky than the Sylvanas is, but it doesn't quite have the same impact. But it doesn't make the deck much weaker. And in some situations, like on an empty board, for example, if you play this on an empty board, it's better than a Sylvanas. So again, it doesn't really make the deck that much weaker. So you can play that. Dr. Boom, while it is overpowered, it's not a perfect fit for this deck, so I think it can be replaced. And for the Dr. Boom, I'm actually gonna add the second Force of Nature here. So we are making the deck a little bit more aggressive now. And the plan now is that instead of playing the Boom on 7, we play the Lore on 7 and dig more aggressively for the combo pieces. So just trying to get these together, and now the chances of having the combo on the following turns is better. So this is another fine change. And for the scenarios, this is probably the most drastic change. This changes a little bit how the deck plays out, but it kind of complements the playstyle with the double combo. So I'm actually gonna add another Zombie Chow here. So this is like completely the opposite of scenarios, but with the double combo, the deck is now becoming a bit more aggressive. So you're more likely to have early plays. The board is more likely to snowball in your favor, and having this is really easy to get played even on turns where you play something else because it's only 1 mana. So if you have let's say 6 mana and you don't have to Spiral the Sky Column, you can play a Belcher and you can play a Zombie Chow. They can't even touch the zombie that well. Then follow it up with a combo. So this would be my budget version of this deck. You can definitely, I promise you can get Legend with this. It's still not that, like, it's not super cheap, because it does have 5 epic cards. And these don't count, these are from Naxxramas, so Naxxramas, if you don't have Shades, you can play Harvest Columns if you don't have Naxxramas done, but yeah, this is like the budget version of it. So that was pretty much it. The deck does work, it's pretty good. Yeah, thanks for watching and bye.